Number 10, William Afton. So, who is the purple guy, you may ask? There are a few theories surrounding this, but one is that he is the man known as William Afton. William Afton is the creator and operator of Afton Robotics Incorporated, which is pretty terrifying considering that is the company that supplied Fazbear Entertainment with their animatronics. Spooky? You bet. You get to visit Afton Robotics in the FNAF game's sister location. Number 9, Elizabeth. Elizabeth Afton is the young daughter of William Afton and the sister to Michael Afton. William created Circus Baby for her, and she is a minor character in the sister location game. She wanted to play with Circus Baby, but her father told her to stay away from the animatronic due to it not being deemed safe enough yet for his daughter. However, when her dad wasn't looking during a birthday party, she snuck off to play with Circus Baby and was lured away from the other children with ice cream that Circus Baby gave her. Circus Baby killed little Elizabeth with a claw that burst forth from her chest. Unfortunately, no one could hear Elizabeth's screams for help over the loud cheering and squeals of delight coming from the other children who were excited over the other animatronics. Ooh. Number 8, Hostile Animatronics. Not only did Purple Man potentially make the animatronics, if he truly is William Afton, but he was also responsible for messing with the animatronics facial recognition software at Freddy's. In FNAF 2, it is revealed that this was tampered with after William complained about the working conditions of the night shifts, and was moved to the daytime shift as a result. During this time, children went missing, and the animatronics programming was altered to make them act hostile towards employees of Freddy's. I think you see what could have happened next there.
And it's 7, Midnight Motorist. The Midnight Motorist minigame is probably the biggest confusion point for anyone trying to figure out FNAF 6. Until this point, the game is clear and concise, providing us with explanations for plenty of other things in the series, like the other characters' masks during FNAF 3's Happiest Day minigame. But while the secret of Midnight Motorist has yet to be mentioned, the game itself is very interesting. Since in the game files, Midnight Motorist isn't called Midnight Motorist, it's called Later That Night. And considering how we know the guy who killed Charlotte drives a purple car, and it happened at night, this only goes to further that theory. And the Later That Night could just be his drive home. I mean, he is driving fairly frantically, like maybe someone had seen him. And in the secret, we do rush to see if our child is home, so maybe we thought that we saw our kid. So we rush home to hope he didn't see us, but he isn't there. But honestly, my dad drives like this on the highway sometimes. There was at one point, he was driving me home, and there was an airport taxi. He was swerving all over the highway. My dad ended up boxing him in. He was stuck behind a car. He was stuck behind a car in front of him, and then this was us beside him. So he ends up swerving right in front of us. He cuts hard across 4 lanes of traffic to get off to the exit, and my dad has to swerve, and we almost hit the median. It was my closest near-death experience, that I remember at least. Apparently, as a toddler, I tried to run out onto the street. I've known the world was cruel since day one.
Number 6, Serial Killer. The purple guy has been confirmed as the murderer of at least 5 missing children throughout the games. In the first FNAF game, you discover that he was responsible for luring at least 2 children to the back room who mysteriously then vanished. Later on in the franchise, you discover via mini-games that he also murdered a child outside of the pizzeria, and that a total of 5 children taken to the back room were killed and stuffed into animatronic suits.
I threw in at number 5, Vanny. Vanny is kind of a different victim in the sense that she isn't dead, but she has been controlled by Afton in the form of a mind virus that is just pretty damn ridiculous even for the FNAF series. But presumably getting caught by testing the FNAF VR game, or maybe through FNAF AR, she gets partially controlled by William. Hence the potential double personality that we see as hinted at through the FNAF AR emails. But this could also just be Tape Girl that we hear in FNAF VR, who is the one who gives you false information about how to beat Glitch Trap. Vanny, we know, is a victim of the purple guy since, well, he's been the only killer in the series up until this point, and she wears a fabric bunny suit, alluding to the fact that William had his spring bunny suit that turned him into Springtrap and, you know, the whole Glitch Trap thing. Gotta love them parallels. This is how serial killers are caught, though. Like, change your MO every once in a while. They only catch the stupid criminals, so don't be stupid. I mean, don't be a criminal. Especially, just don't do it.
Number 4, Scrap Trap. Scrap Trap is a far more frightening iteration of Springtrap. This version appears in Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria Simulator. The suit now appears to have even more tears and has a more withered looking appearance, missing a limb and with more tendons belonging to the corpse within it visible.
Getting close to the end in number 3, Mic Trap. The Mic Trap theory came on the rise after Sister Location's secret ending, where Michael makes his speech of, "Father, it's me, Michael. I did it. I found it. It was right where you said it would be." They were all there. They didn't recognize me at first, but then they thought I was you. And I found her. I put her back together, just like you asked me to. She's free now, but something is wrong with me. I should be dead, but I'm not. I've been living in the shadows. There's only one thing left for me to do now. I'm going to come find you. After saying, I'm going to come find you again, Springtrap appears at a burnt Fazbear Fright. Why does this cause such a debate? Because some fans assumed that Springtrap appearing meant it was Springtrap who was talking, causing them to think that Mike was in fact the one in the Springtrap suit, hence the name Mike Trap. This, however, was simply to illustrate that Springtrap survived the fire and that he was in fact findable. Since Scott said in a Reddit/Steam post to check out MapHat's conclusion on the debate, and MapHat had concluded that it was Springtrap. Since in FNAF 2's minigame he was able to drive, and if he was Michael, I mean, like, how could we be playing as him in Sister Location?
Number 2, Trapped in Hell. It's believed that in Custom Night, where you can customize which animatronics can come at you as you attempt to survive, you are playing as William Afton, who is now trapped in hell, with the never-ending nights that make up the individual games that you play representing William's eternal punishment for the murders that he was responsible for. Additionally, the Old Man Consequences Easter egg has been used to argue the likelihood of this claim. What do you think? Do you think that game is all about you playing as William Afton, you're trapped in hell? Let us know in the comments. Number 1, Father versus Son. After Michael Afton turns purple in the minigames we previously touched on, he starts to convulse and ends up vomiting out the parts of Enard. His empty skin collapses on the ground with nothing to hold it up, and he appears to be dead. However, we then see him miraculously awaken, alive. And if you beat Golden Freddy on very hard mode in Custom Night, you get to find out what happens next in his story. That is, after he left, now with Enard inside him. A cutscene reveals Michael talking to his father in a burned down Fazbear's Fright. Michael explains that he has freed his sister, but at great cost to himself. He should be dead, but finds himself somehow still alive. And he vows that he is coming to find his father. The cutscene finishes with Springtrap popping into the frame.
And it's Henry. Now, there are many ways to consider Henry a victim of the purple guy, but he's first because not many of them are as direct as others. While we do see Henry get killed by a baby in FNAF World, in the main series games he lives on in FNAF 6, where he then gets burnt in a fire. Unless baby kills him in the FNAF 6 location before the fire can, since, you know, he cut her off earlier, but that's still just speculation. However, Henry was also the victim of Purple Guy's crimes when Charlotte died, as seen in FNAFs 2 and 6, as well as in the books, since Henry lost his book daughter Charlie to William when she was only 3 years old. Remember, when someone takes a life, the one who dies isn't the only victim. Their family and friends, anyone who loved them, are a victim as well. This also extends to Henry's wife, who we don't know the name of as far as I know, since she may still be alive in the games. And at 9, Gabriel. Gabriel was one of the original 5 missing children from the first ever incident that we learned about in the games. We believe his soul passed into the Freddy animatronic based on the gravestone ending and the placement of the FNAF 3 heads. Gabriel hasn't really ever gotten much of a description, aside from a brief mention in the books, but that description could also be referencing Jeremy, and it's just based on Crying Child from FNAF 4's 8-bit minigames, so there isn't really much validity to it. But I wonder how Gabriel feels about being the mascot of the company in essence, cause, you know, with over 25 versions of the character being present throughout the separate games, you're a pretty popular fellow. I originally had a theory that we played as someone named Gabriel in FNAF VR, since we ended up getting stuffed into the Freddy animatronic in the pizza party ending, but I think that Gregory from Security Breach will be a better Gabriel comparison, especially with this whole hiding in Glamrock Freddy thing. And it ate Susie. Susie was the first to die, which is pretty horrifying when you think about it, but also kinda liberating if you think about it in another way. Horrifying because, like, you know, you get killed out of nowhere and that sucks hard. But liberating because, while yes, you're dead, you also dead, so you don't really have to worry about anything else. Well, I suppose not in this case, since they go on to possess the animatronic, but like, they don't have to worry about anything in their future, like just getting revenge on their killer. And honestly, that sounds like the life. Like, not having to pay rent and then just doing everything in your power to stop a serial killer. That sounds like my kind of vacation. But nevertheless, being the first to die is a pretty serious thing. We know she was the first thanks to Withered Chica's voice line in Ultimate Custom Night, and keep in mind that the Withered animatronics are the original ones after being decommissioned when the restaurant closed prior to FNAF 2, since FNAF 2 is still a prequel and one of the first games in the timeline, so she is Withered Chica, even if she's also Chica. Gotta love the games.
Number 7, Michael Afton. Michael Afton is William's son and Elizabeth's brother, who is also known by his nickname Eggs Benedict. In Sister Location, you play as Michael, who is revealed to be on a mission to find his sister and set her spirit free. However, Michael is tricked into entering the scooping room by Enard, who also has Elizabeth's consciousness within it. In the scooping room, you as Michael have your insides scooped out before Enard wears your skin like a suit, so that they may leave the facility and go out into the world. How lovely. It is speculated that Michael may also be the Purple Man instead of William, or maybe in addition to William? Could there be two of them? You decide.
And at 6, Elizabeth. Elizabeth was an unintentional victim of the purple guy, given that Elizabeth was in fact his daughter. In the aftermath of his murder den closing, Afton set up shop in a new restaurant he owned called Circus Baby's Pizza World, at least one that he started opening, where the feature animatronics were actually giant murder robots hungry for the flesh of children, because, you know, that's what this series has come to at that point. He warned his kids to stay away from the animatronics, especially his daughter Elizabeth, since she had such a fascination with the main star baby, but she didn't listen, so in a moment of ultimate regret, she done got herself scooped, basically insta-killing her while baby's arm grabbed her, pulled her in, and then crushed her and put her in a storage unit. While he didn't kill her directly, he still killed her, and then even victimized himself since, you know, it was his daughter that got scooped, and William's also a victim because he killed his daughter. But then this leads him to discover possession at the hands of Agony, but I don't think that he knows that it's Agony, but then that completely changes his motive, so he goes on to commit more murders. It's a pivotal death in the Purple Guy chronology, or story. Halfway through into number 5, Phone Guy. Ah yes, the original theory. The one that started us all on the path to dedicating too much of our time to uncovering the hidden secrets of Five Nights at Freddy's. Oh, just Matt, Pat, and I? In all seriousness, this is the theory that got me to look closer to the Five Nights series. And if Matt Pat hadn't suggested that Phone Guy was the purple guy, the series I don't think would have expanded as much as it did. This theory came from several factors. One was that the Phone Guy openly admits his love for Foxy, which we can see with Purple Guy smiling during the Foxy Go 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 minigame. Phone Guy also admits his distrust of the puppet, who we at the time assumed to be the first victim, and the first animatronic with sentience. So Phone Guy describing it as always thinking certainly would put some suspicion on him. The object in Purple Guy's hand also took the rough shape of a phone, at least for 8-bit standards. All of this evidence led us to the conclusion that Phone Guy was the purple guy, and honestly, I think that's what Scott originally intended, until he decided to expand the series with some books that introduced William Afton as a character into the series. From that point on, just like William, Scott's ideas changed. And at 4, Jeremy's. As I said in the Souls Trapped in Animatronics video, Jeremy is one of the biggest troll names in FNAF history, being used for 3 separate characters, which, I mean, doesn't sound like a lot, but for FNAF it is. However, only 2 of them are the direct victims of Purple Guy. Jeremy is the name of one of the original missing children, and as I said earlier, he goes on to possess Bonnie. The other Jeremy is a playtester for the Freddy Fazbear Virtual Experience, the game we tested in FNAF VR, the one who tested it before Tape Girl, who ends up finding the glitch trap anomaly and causes him to go mad. And by going mad, I genuinely mean, like, absolutely psycho. Jeremy ends up cutting off his own face. But I mean, like, that's also interesting because, like, Withered Bonnie, the Withered Bonnie animatronic that we see in FNAF 2 is missing his face. And it's weird because Withered Bonnie is the Bonnie that's possessed by the missing children's incident Jeremy. Now, like, I don't know if that means anything or if it's intended or if it's just coincidence, but knowing this series, I'm always worried that, like, the smallest detail is gonna have the biggest consequence.
Number 3, Rotting Away. Part of the reason why some think that Michael Afton could be the Purple Man is because of the color of his skin. The purple color is speculated to represent his skin rotting away following the scooping room incident in Sister Location, while Michael's consciousness lives on within. In mini-games within Ultimate Custom Night, we witness what happened to Enard and Michael after leaving the facility. We see his skin change from pale to tan to green to brown to almost like this blue and then deep purple.
Penultimately in at number 2, Charlotte. Charlotte is one of the most troublesome victims Purple Guy has had. Being the 6th victim, Charlotte gets killed outside the pizzeria, despite desperate attempts from her father, Henry, to prevent this, mainly by creating a security animatronic designed like a puppet to protect other kids but treat her as a priority. You know, He's a parent, I get it. However, when it gets trapped in its box, it's unable to make it out to Charlotte in time to save her. So, in another attempt, the puppet saves her in another way, allowing her agony to reach out and take hold of the animatronic. As the puppet, Charlotte then goes on to share her gift of the second chance with the other animatronics, bringing them to life as well, resulting in William's ultimate undoing. In a way, Charlotte is really the one you should not have killed, since if he had spared her, maybe he wouldn't have lost his life in the end, or been spring-locked. So, yeah, shouldn't have done it. Finally, in at number 1, us. Now, this is why Cassidy isn't number 1. No matter what, we are a victim of the purple guy, and not in any philosophical way either. We are a direct victim of the purple guy, or William Afton, or Glitch Trap, or whatever you want to call him. Since, thanks to FNAF VR, no matter what you do, you end up losing at the end of the game. You either merge with him and join him on stage, or you complete the ritual only to get locked away in your own mind as William walks free in your body, or the easier one, we get stuffed into Freddy at the end of the pizza party minigame. But if you end up collecting all 16 tapes and actually fully complete the game, you're a victim of the purple guy. Like, he uses your body to commit whatever comes next. I mean, we could be Vanny, we could be Tape Girl giving it another shot, we could be some random bystander, but either way, we the player get gotten by this toxic, poisonous grip that is the purple guy. So, yeah, I'm gonna put myself at number 1. And at number 10, dead. Until the release of the 5th Fazbear Frights book, Bunny Call, most people understandably believed that William Afton died during the spring locking we see in FNAF 3, and that Springtrap was his possessed animatronic. While I heavily debated this, a load of people got mad at me for it, since I kept saying that Springtrap wasn't an animatronic, that he was William piloting a suit. But a load of comments, every time I said that, all flipped on me, because Springtrap wasn't there and he's dead in the suit. No, he wasn't. I stood by that, and it was revealed to be the case in the Man in Room 1280. You best believe I was celebrating when I heard about that. Oh, it felt so good to be right. I saw that and I just started dancing. I was living my life, bro. It was great. Look, I've suggested a few outlandish things, but this was the first thing I was very adamant about, and I was right. Springtrap wasn't an animatronic because William was alive piloting the suit. I remember one comment said, "Oh, so you expect him to be alive in a room without food or water for 30 years?" And I remember responding to that, saying that like there could be stuff in the storage room, or, you know, because someone living for 30 years is totally unrealistic in a series about animatronics possessed by dead kids. Then at 9, Scrap Trap. When Scrap Trap was introduced in FNAF 6, it confused a lot of people. I mean, his body structure made him look like a totally different animatronic. And this led a lot of people to believe that this was actually a different person. That Scrap Trap was Michael and William was Springtrap, or the other way around. That William was Scrap Trap but Michael was Springtrap. And that's not the first time this has happened either. But I'll get to that. The final monologue secured Scrap Trap as William, since Henry says, "For most of you, I believe there is peace and perhaps more waiting for you after the smoke clears. Although for one of you, the darkest pit of hell is open to swallow you whole. So don't keep the devil waiting, old friend." Which is obviously a reference to William, since Michael is not an old friend of Henry. At least I don't think so. And I don't think he should be going to hell. Although it'd be nice to see him there. We could like party. That's my only dance move. It used to be this, but now it's this. In at 8, Survivor. William always comes back. It's one of his defining features. But we predicted William's survival of the FNAF 6 fire thanks to some very clever redditors. Some theorists noticed that the final monologue in FNAF 6 had engulfed the animatronics in flames. Well, all of them aside from one Sir William Afton, Scrap Trap, who was instead in front of the flames. This was proven to be true in Fazbear Frights Book 5, Man in Room 1280, where William lays in the hospital in a coma after the fire, with horrific burns all over his body and the Scrap Trap suit no longer surrounding him, so the fire must have caught him to cause that severe of damage. Although we had thought that he had escaped mostly unscathed. William only dies after being brought to a Fazbear warehouse when he then explodes violently all over a pastor who wants to grant him his last request. In at 7, Fritz. Fritz is also one of the original 5 missing children, being the victim who possesses everyone's favorite animatronic, Foxy. I guess in a way it was meant to be, given that both of their names start with an F and are shorter than their other names. The others actually also have similar names to their animatronics as well. Gabriel has the same amount of letters as Fazbear, Jeremy has the same amount of letters as Bonnie, and Susie and Chica have the same amount of letters as well. That's freaking weird, man. But not much else is known about Fritz. There originally was a theory that Fritz was a good guy who wanted to help the player in FNAF 1, but that was debunked in Ultimate Custom Night during like an April Fool's update or something, where Foxy's mechanics were changed to just like block one of the doors instead of kill you. Like, this was actually a joke though, since other mechanics were referencing other theories as well, like like phone guy being Springtrap, and like, cause well, Springtrap couldn't be moving when purple guy was talking, as well as like Nightmare Freddy making you wake up from your nightmare, and that was referencing to Dream Theory. I mean, like, I wish I could wake up from this nightmare though. Oh wait, this is real? I talk about FNAF on the internet daily. That's actually a thing? I'm not having a nightmare? Oh great. In its 6th first victim. Until the release of Ultimate Custom Night, we thought we knew the order in which William had killed his victims, with the first one being Charlotte, Henry's daughter outside the pizzeria before he started using the golden Bonnie suit, and that she gave life to the other animatronics. I mean, it made complete sense. It explained why the kill was so different and how the give life minigame worked, but now, thanks to Ultimate Custom Night, we know that Chica was the first victim. Susie? Really? Why? Honestly, it makes me mad because the series made so much more sense when the first victim was Charlotte, and it could have helped us get an idea of William's motivation since Charlotte is a more significant kill than Susie. My sister has been watching a lot of Criminal Minds, so I feel like I've picked up on a few things. But unfortunately, that isn't the case anymore. We were proven wrong thanks to Scott and his love for complete and utter chaos.
Number 5. Springtrap. In FNAF 3, we discovered that Springtrap, the game's main antagonist, contains the corpse of William Afton. While fleeing the vengeful spirits of the 5 children that he murdered, he finds himself cornered. Quickly, he thinks to hide himself in a Spring Bonnie suit, being careful to avoid injury. Initially. However, the suit's spring locks malfunction due to water damage and sudden movements that William makes, resulting in him being sliced apart while inside the suit, and crushed by its inner mechanisms. What a way to go. You can still see his remains through the tears in Springtrap's suit.
And at 4, Mustard Man. The Mustard Man is the character we play as in the Midnight Motorist minigame, one that we can only see if we take a secret exit around halfway through the playtest, where we get out of the car and try to go into a location called Junior's and then head home to find that our son has broken his window and escaped his room. The most confusing part of FNAF 6 though has to be this fan named Mustard Man. No character until this point had been associated with that color. It was even made explicitly clear in the Freddy file that your character in this minigame isn't purple. There are 2 prevailing theories about this guy though. One states that this is William Afton before he started killing or something similar, because the minigame and his secret don't have to be at the same time. He could have been driving and the minigame could be like a flashback. The other is that this could in fact be Henry, the father of Charlotte. I mean, there isn't really much to go off of, only that it may be William because of the 2 sons, one watching TV wearing a gray shirt like Mike from the FNAF 4 minigames, who then goes back home to watch Immortal and the Restless after work in sister location, and the similar color of like the Mustard Man with the I will put you back together text color from FNAF 4, but it may also be Henry's home because there are footprints outside the window which look an awful lot like Glitchtrap's feet, but Glitchtrap is again just sentient code. We also never hear about Henry having more kids than Charlotte. It's weird. Also, I'm glad Charlotte's gone, because it doesn't feel as weird when I say Charlotte was murdered. And at 3, Cassidy. Cassidy is probably who you'd expect to be number 1 on this list. You know, the generally assumed, the one you should not have killed. The missing children's victim who went on to possess Golden Freddy. Cassidy is described in the novels as a young girl with long black hair, which is also the description of the only human to appear in the FNAF survival logbook, or security logbook, I call it both. The name Cassidy was also discovered in that book, when a Reddit theorist going by the username DPowerful1 took wrong or highlighted numbers from various pages and put those into word search and basic like in coordinates, and then he ended up finding the name Cassidy, which has got to be the most complicated thing in history. Like, we dig through source code and we put audio files through goddamn spectrograms to try to find clues, but even this was too much for this series. Like, I don't know why I had to go and make things so complicated. Penultimately, in at number 2, Pink Guy. The purple versus pink guy debate is the Mike versus Wiltrap debate of the early FNAF days. Back when all we had to worry about was different colors and not like 14 different purple characters. This debate came after FNAF 2's Foxy Go 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 minigame, where some fans believed the guy standing in the corner all smiley while Foxy discovered a group of dead kids was a couple shades lighter than the purple guy we saw killing kids outside the pizzeria. This, combined with the interior and exterior facts of their killings, got them named Purple Guy and Pink Guy. However, this was ultimately put to bed when the strategy guide known as the Freddy Files was released and stated in the Foxy Go 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 minigame, quote, "Here you'll play as Foxy. Leaving the previous room, you enter a room full of children as party poppers go off. When the last one goes off, you return to your starting position and must make your way to the kids again, and then again. The last time you do, Purple Guy is visible in the lower left corner of the room. He's smiling. In the next room, the children are dead. This post-death minigame ends with a Foxy jump scare." You notice how it said Purple Guy is visible? There you go. Finally, in at number 1, Hell. Ah yes. my homeland. I mean, the theory that we all believed to be set in stone, until Bunny Call came out. What's this book's deal with ruining so many things we thought we knew about the series? Anyway, the original Ultimate Custom Night theory was that Cassidy was torturing William in hell, or in purgatory on his way to hell, and making him relive all of his crimes because they hated him so much, hence the title of the one you should not have killed. This was evidenced by multiple things, including Henry's speech at the end of FNAF 6, but then the man in room 1280 comes along and instead shows us that it was simply William being tortured in a coma while he was in the hospital. Remarkably similar to how we perceived Crying Child to die in FNAF 4, which is absolutely crazy to say the least, and very poetic in a way. I mean, it's messed up since the dude ends up exploding in a warehouse, but at least the line of rest your own soul makes sense now, since torturing William was preventing the spirit from keeping him alive from passing on to their own life. Because, you know, if he was already dead, why would you bother? I personally still think it's Crying Child, not Cassidy, but who knows? Maybe Crying Child's name is Cassidy? I doubt that though.